This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Monday, October 14th, 2024. I'm Alex Brown. The city of Elkhart is part of a growing region in northern Indiana, and local leaders and companies are investing. Mayor Rod Roberson says companies not only look for places where there's an employment base, but also where there's a strong quality of life for people in the area.
They follow what we're doing right now with respect to our downtown master plan and what we've done to kind of coalesce our investments around quality of place and quality of life. We quit chasing the holy grail of trying to find the 10,000 employee or staffing company to move here, and we build it from inside out.
Roberson says the city will need more housing, and developers are looking at building more apartments and condos to help fill the needs of a growing population. Officials in Tell City broke ground Friday on the $10.3 million first phase of the Hoosier Heights housing project. The project received $1 million in Ready 1.0 funds and is expected to create 33 new family homes by the end of 2026, with up to 81 homes in future phases. Indiana's revenue collections missed projections in September. The Indiana State Budget Agency said Friday that general fund revenues from last month totaled just over $2 billion, which was 8.4% lower than the December 2023 forecast and 0.5% lower than the same month last year. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, we'll dive into each region's unique challenges and distinct opportunities for growth. 9 regions, 1 goal. Indiana's bold future starts here. Discover more and register at ibj.com/engage.
American Hellenic Educational Progressive Association Senior Living, a nationwide provider of affordable multifamily housing for older adults, broke ground last week on the $20 million second phase of its AHEPA 100 apartments in South Bend. The 3-story building will add 72 units to the housing stock for folks 62 years old and above with a household income of less than 50% of the area's median income. ASL CEO Steve Beck.
With the help of HUD and some other agencies, we're able to provide great housing for local low-income seniors. This project will not have tubs. It will have, every bathroom will have wash-in showers. So we basically have 2 buildings that are now under construction, one in Des Moines, Iowa, and this one here, and both will have solar roofs. They're not cheap. But we were able to kind of figure it out financially, and we're committed to doing that.
The construction timeline is 13 months, and Beck projects the building will be ready by late 2025. Developers said funding for the project includes a $7.3 million capital advance from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, as well as a $10.1 million low-income housing tax credit. The U.S. Department of Justice on Friday filed a lawsuit against the city of South Bend, alleging that its hiring practices for the police department discriminated against blacks and women. The lawsuit accuses South Bend of using a written examination that discriminates against black police officer applicants and a physical fitness test that discriminates against women. The complaint doesn't allege intentional discrimination, but notes that federal law also prohibits employment practices that result in a disparate impact on protected groups. The DOJ says the discriminatory practices have been used since at least 2016 to the present. A written statement from Mayor James Mueller's administration defended the city's hiring practices as fair and said it believes the DOJ's lawsuit ignores the city's obligations to comply with state law and will cause a delay in the city's hiring processes and amounts to a waste of taxpayer resources. Indiana Chamber of Commerce CEO Vanessa Green Cinders is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.